Hey everybody, it's Monster Forge again, and the video I posted just a little while back about, the random stuff that I found, I made mention of when I was taking a look at this Transformers, the calendar that I talked about. I made mention about the evergreen designs for the Transformers, and I talked about the barricade here and how I thought it was a really cool design. Well, I mentioned that I have the figure of that, and we'll do a little look at that in a minute. But I just kind of want to talk about Transformers a little bit. Just some things that didn't really fit anywhere else. I've been putting together a collection of the modern day Transformers, but are G1 figures. Like, I was collecting for a long time the Legends size or Legends plus size. They're a little bit bigger than Legends. Like a Legend size figure is kind of what they call core now. The core class, but Legends was a little bit bigger than core class. And when I was putting it together, I was going with what was considered Legends plus size, which an Optimus Prime, this is actually like Legend size or what they call core class now. The Optimus for this line would have been a little bit taller. And at the point that I was collecting these, the Bumblebee that I had was this little guy, which is one of the cutest Transformers that I own. He's a tiny little fella. This is the Newage version of Bumblebee, the first version of that. There's like a newer Bumblebee, a newer version of Bumblebee that they've put out since then. In case you don't know who they are, Newage is a third-party Transformers company. They produce toys that are not licensed by Hasbro. And third-party stuff tends to be a little bit more expensive because they're made in lower numbers. A lot of times they're made, sometimes they're made with better engineering. They can do a little bit more because they can charge a little bit more for it, and vice versa. But this little guy, this is the Newage Flipper, and I got him several years ago. I can't remember exactly what year. Let me see. Let's see what year. Hold on. No, they don't have the year that it came out, or do they? No, they don't have it on here. But I do know that somebody wrote a review of it on the TFSource site in 2020, in 2019. Let's see if it goes back farther than that. Yeah, there's a few from 2018. So he's been around since, as far back as 2018. I can't remember exactly when I got him. I got him when he was fairly new. So I just love him. I think he's the cutest little robot. And I couldn't think of a better Bumblebee going forward from this. But when I started collecting like the regular size Transformers, I needed a Bumblebee. So this guy wouldn't work because, we use as our standard, of measurement being he's really Voyager size, but he's a leader class Optimus Prime because he's more complex. He has the trailer accessory, all that kind of stuff. So he was a higher price point. I got him for way less than what he was supposed to because I picked him up at Ollie's. And I think I paid like $25 for him. Or no, it was like $20 for him when the figure was retailing for like upwards, like over 50, I think, at the time. But that's the Earthrise Optimus Prime. And it's from the War for Cybertron series, which is morphed into after various iterations, it's the Legacy line, the Legacy United. But, you know, I had like this size Optimus Prime, like the core class here, or a little bit bigger than core class with my Bumblebee, which I think that's a pretty good size right there. It works okay. That's one of the few of the Legend size figures that I have. This Optimus here. You know, and they look okay. The Legends Plus size that I was collecting, the Optimus was probably about this tall, so it looked better with Bumblebee at that size. But anyway, I keep these guys together because I like to have them with my Metroplex, the G1 Metroplex that I have. I like displaying them with that. But anyway, I really like this Bumblebee, and we'll look at him a little bit closer in a minute. But yeah, he's got the cutest little face. But when I was going to this size, the option I had for Bumblebee was either, you know, because at the time you couldn't find a decent deluxe size Bumblebee. Now they had put out, by this point, they had put out the Cliff Jumper, which Cliff Jumper stands about yay high to Optimus Prime. And the only way you could get a Bumblebee at that point that was comparable to that was when they used the same mold to make the Netflix Bumblebee for the, was it Earthrise? Was it Kingdom? I can't remember. It was a special one that it may have been like a Walmart exclusive. I can't remember. One way or the other, I missed it. I missed it when it came out, and I never was able to get it, and then the prices started going ridiculously high for it. So this was the only Bumblebee I had. And at the time, when these were coming out, about the only Bumblebee you could find was like, you know, like one of the Studio Series movie Bumblebees. And while he's a cool looking character, he doesn't fit the aesthetic for the G1 type figures. So I didn't get him till much later, because even the movie Bumblebee figures were getting kind of hard to find around here. But what I did get was, and this is, I'll go into explaining this in a minute, but this is the, let's see, let me see what the name of this thing is. It's the Kubianbao. It's their version of Bumblebee, and I think it's called let's see, no, it's called MCS02, KBB, what is that? I can't read what that says. Oh, it's in Chinese, that's why I can't read it. Hornets Agent. Now, the thing is, if you've ever looked up this figure, the way the figure comes, the head looks like poop. It's like a really bad looking head. It doesn't look, there's nowhere near the kind of cuteness that's on this face. They basically took, like, whereas this is a third party toy, this is a fourth party, where a company, Kubianbao, they took the Newage mold, and they, let me put this up here for a little bit easier, looking at these smaller guys for right now. They took the mold and they upsized it, which I liked, and they actually did some upgrades on it, which I liked even better. But for the head, instead of just upsizing the head and making a cute head, now, once again, this isn't the head that came with this one. I don't have that head anymore because it was an abomination. But what they did was, instead of replicating this head, which would have been perfect, they took it looks to me like they took the Masterpiece Bumblebee, the first Masterpiece Bumblebee, and I don't know if they use it at the same size, because I've never had the Masterpiece Bumblebee. I don't know the size of it in hand, but they warped it somehow when they brought it down. So it looks like, I don't know if you know who the actor Robert Zadar was. He had, is it acromegaly? I can't remember what you call it, but it's sort of like a gigantism where he had the big, huge jaw. I know you've seen that guy in movies for years. He Usually he played a bad guy. Wasn't he like Maniac Cop or Kabuki Cop or something? I can't remember. He was in some trauma films, I think. But anyway, I needed a good head for this guy, and for a while it sat on my shelf the way the head came. Let me see if I can bring up a picture of what the head looks like on this goober. What it looked like anyway. Okay, there's a picture. I'm going to move my camera so you can see. There's a picture right there of the face, and that is actually flattering. The actual noggin for this guy was like really bad, and the paint was bad, and it had defects in the mold, so it didn't look that good. But it sat in my collection. It was as close to a Bumblebee, you know, that scaled with Cliffjumper fairly well. And once again, this isn't the head that I'll get to that in a second. Then came along the buzzworthy Bumblebee Origins Bumblebee, which it's the Bumblebee, and I've got it on a little stand here so it floats. But it's the Bumblebee the way he appeared in the first episode of Transformers, the miniseries. And what I did was, you can see here, normally, oh, my cat's on my desk. All right, you stay over there. Don't try to climb this way. You're going to make a mess. You're going to make a mess. There you go. Good girl. She's such a good girl. Anyway, I didn't like the robot mode of this, and you can look up some reviews of it and all. I like the little ship version, but the robot, they had to make a lot of compromises to get it to look like Bumblebee, and I never felt like it really did look like Bumblebee. But one thing I liked about it was the head, and so I took the head from that Bumblebee, which I think is a great Bumblebee sculpt. He's got a lot of personality. He's got like a little bit of almost a little smile, which I love Bumblebee happy. But he's not goofy or anything. Like he's kind of, you know, like I like my Autobots. He's kind of noble looking. So I just took that head. I made a ball joint for this body, and I wound up with my for me anyway, might not be for anybody else, but my perfect Bumblebee. And I think he looks really good with Cliffjumper. And I like that they're different enough that they don't look like they're made from the same mold. Like the Netflix Bumblebee was made from the same mold as Cliffjumper. And, you know, Cliffjumper and Bumblebee look different in the cartoon. They look more different in the cartoon than they did in the toys. Because the toys, it was the same, just about the same mold with minor cosmetic differences. But in the cartoon itself, they weren't really exactly the same. They had some differences. And so I feel like this works really well. And if you look at them side to side, Bumblebee's a little bit smaller, and I like that. I always feel like Bumblebee should be the tiniest Autobot, with the exception of Wheelie. Or maybe like, you know, like Micro Masters and Target Masters and Head Masters and stuff like that. But as far as an actual like regular one of the Autobots, in particular the Arc crew, and you know, using our Earthrise Prime, I think that's a really good. I think that's a really good scale right there with Bumblebee. You know, because I couldn't. You know, you can't use that Newage Flipper figure with Optimus, but you definitely can use the upsized of it. So the reason why I bring this up is because every time I go to Walmart right now, there's copies of that new Studio Series 86 Bumblebee. And while I think it's a really nice figure, and, you know, in the robot mode, I love the way that the Autobot symbol hides when it goes from the Volkswagen to the robot. The little symbol hides inside the foot. But there's a lot of similarities, and it's enough similarities where I don't feel the need itchy nose. I don't feel the need to pick up the Studio Series one. So taking a look at this guy right here. First of all, I'll show you the similarities and all between the two of them. So this isn't really, I mean, I guess this is kind of a little review of the Newage Flipper, which I'm sure there's a million reviews of this guy because he's been out so long. And I'm sure there's a million reviews of the Hornets Agent or whatever they called him. But anyway, I'll just show some differences. Like, and you can look at pictures of the new the new Bumblebee figure that's come out. Now, I don't really need to transform this little guy because it's almost exactly the same transformation. I mean, like, so close it's not even funny. But there are some differences, and of course, you know, the heads are different because the head was different on this figure even before I changed the head. But some of the differences you'll see is like the joint here, the shoulder joint is yellow on this one, which makes for a better look when he's in the Volkswagen mode. And this one, it's a black joint there. And I understand why they had the black joint, so you don't have the yellow showing through at the top. But really, the yellow's not that big a deal there. And it would have been nicer if the little guy had it. So that's one improvement they made. Another thing too is I really like both of their guns, but the gun on this one's an upgrade from this one. And I think once again they just used the sculpt for the Masterpiece Bumblebee, the first one, for that gun. And this one is it's a little bit more squared off. This one has a little bit more personality to it. And I like it. To me, this looks more like the animation model. Another thing is, and one thing that people complained about the Flipper model is the arms, or like the hands, do not turn. And so it's always kind of at an awkward angle. So he's kind of like, he can't quite point straight ahead. It's always kind of an inward thing. But he looks really good with the hands at his side like that. But, you know, you don't always want him posed like that. He's so cute. Another thing that's different is the wheels themselves. When they're flipped out in robot mode, I mean, in vehicle mode, and the wheels are inside of here too, and it's the same way on the back. They don't roll. Now, one reason why is because this guy is so tiny. Like, he is, and I know there's been smaller Transformers than him that have rolling wheels, but usually those rolling wheels suck. But anyway, he's just a little bit under 2.5 inches. He's a little bit, let's see, what is he? Yeah, he's a little bit over 2.25 inches. Very tiny little guy. But the wheels, when you flip them out in the vehicle mode, they don't turn. Which that never really bothered me, but it did bother a lot of people. And so that's one of the reasons why they didn't pick this guy up. But if you collect the smaller scale Transformers, I would definitely suggest picking him up for your Bumblebee. Because, like, if you have the core Optimus Prime and you want a Bumblebee for it, that's a perfect size right there. And he just looks really good with that Prime. And, you know, if you can get past the turning wheel, the lack of turning wheels, and the gun, the hand not being able to straighten out, it's a good thing to have. But I kind of wanted to focus on this guy for this video, because I will get to talking about Barricade in a minute. Anyway, the upgrades to this one, like I said, was the yellow here, and the hands actually do turn. Now, it would have been nice if they had kind of straightened out the hands here, but that actually comes into play in the transformation, having the wrist kind of curved down because of how it will go into a slot. And his hands have like a rectangular peg hole that fits the gun. and the gun has kind of like a little slot thing in there, but it doesn't really slide into a slot, you know, like a little ridge or anything. It just kind of slides in and holds it fairly well. But yeah, it does turn, so you have a little bit more options for posing him like that, but you still don't quite get a straight point to the arm. But you know, I would kind of, and I might think about doing this at one point, is like rounding out, or maybe like putting a circular port in there and putting a circular pin in the gun so it can straighten out. But honestly, it doesn't really matter to me. I think he looks really good holding the gun. And another upgrade to this guy is when you flip the wheels out, they spin, and the wheels in the back spin too, and he rolls pretty well. But let's take a look at the transformation on this guy. Let's take the gun and set it down. And the first thing you want to do, and this is really tight on this one, not so much on the Newage one, but this clips in right here. And the way you're actually supposed to have this guy transformed, according to the instructions, is you fold these little plates down here and have this folded down, so it's kind of compact. But honestly, I like it better with these up. It kind of gives him a neat looking silhouette there, kind of like a, I don't know, like a collar type thing, and I really like that. So that's the way I keep it on mine. But anyway, you disconnect, and look, I stuck it back in. It's tight. All this time later, and it's still pretty tight. You flip this little panel up, and you bring up the back, like it's on an arm, and it flips around like this. And you can, you know, you can straighten out the neck a little bit in there, and it does fit, which was one of the things whenever I was, you know, picking out this head. It fits, but it does need to turn a little bit because it's a little bit wider than the one that it came with. But everything fits together pretty well. You take these fit up inside the cavity here, and you just flip these around to get everything where it needs to be. And these are the rear wheels, and you see they turn really well. And then what you want to do is you want to flip these around, and you'll turn this ball joint here. I never really got into the articulation, so I'm gonna switch him back to robot for a look at him with the barricade figure. Let's see. All right, and so you have it like this right now, and then what you'll want to do is you open up these panels, and you take this part of the leg and you turn it. Let's see, is this the way? Yes, you turn it like this. You turn this part backwards basically, and then you flip this around, and it'll sort of seat in there. You see the little dip in there. And you can go ahead and combine the front of the car. And then what you want to do is you want to flip everything over like this, and it'll flip on down, and then you want to kind of angle it back so that the fist, and that happens sometimes, the fist will fit in there, and then you just kind of squeeze everything up together, and the wheels will, there we go. Got to kind of get it just right. And you can flip the wheels out. And one cool thing, and this was the Newage little smaller figure had this feature too, but you can actually, he has storage for the gun, and the gun will just slide right into that slot, and it kind of makes almost like a little axle, looks like, but the gun is stored and it'll stay right in there pretty well. Get him squeezed up right there, and yeah, he rolls really well. But that's the Bumblebee, you know, that we have for that I have for my collection. I've thought before about painting the little spare black, but if I remember correctly, in the show, the spare on his back was actually yellow, so it's basically like a a spare holder, you know, like a case for the spare. So I'm just leaving it exactly like it is. I'm not doing too much messing around with it. But it's a nice little, and to me, this looks more like the bug in the show than the new Studio Series one does. I might be wrong about that, and it might just be nostalgia, but I like that. It definitely looks like the old toy more. You know, the rounded off features and all, and I love the blue windows on it. But I just think he looks really good, and it's nice. It fits in your hand really well. And if you compare him with, you know, it's not impossible to believe that this reformatted into this. So, and basically, you know, through the power of imagination, when you turn this guy into, and we'll turn him back to kind of compare him with the barricade in a minute. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Do like this. These guys slide right out like this, and sometimes I forget the steps. I'm that way. Nope. It's a ball joint. They do that. Let's see. Get it like that. Okay. Give me a second. I know this is thrilling. Listen to me breathe and transform. I don't charge any extra for that. Yeah, but you know, fold. Oh, that's where I was getting hung up. The joints on this are really tight. Like, that's one thing about it. I've had this guy for a couple of years now, and the joints on him are still tight. And I do transform him a good bit. So, but yeah, there he is back in the robot mode. But the thing is, in the first episode, when they're on Cybertron, he still looks like a Volkswagen Beetle that turns into a robot, but he turns into this. So, through the power of imagination, there you go, he turns into that. Anyway, but yeah, that's the Bumblebee that I have as a standard in my collection. And I think I'm going to eventually replace this Autobot sticker, because I'm not... This is one of the early ones that I got, and I've gotten some better ones since then. But really what I wanted to show is, I just figured it was an opportunity to talk about that Bumblebee, because, you know, maybe you want to make one like that. This is Barricade. This is what they call and he didn't come with this gun. This gun is basically he doesn't come with any accessories. This is a Lego. I don't know if you can see the Lego thing on it or not. Oh, there we go. Does it say Lego? Well, I had to modify it, so I think I kind of covered up that with glue. But this is a little 3mm peg, like what typical like core class figures will hold. The little 3mm peg. I thought that a Lego peg would fit his hand. It didn't, and also the Lego peg was kind of at an angle, so it didn't fit quite flush. So I just trimmed the handle off and put a 3mm peg on there, so it fits in his hand pretty well. But anyway, this is the Transformers Authentics Barricade figure, and he's pretty righteous. I think he looks really, really, really cool. He's got a cool face sculpt. I love how he looks both like a police officer and also like a freaking stormtrooper, or what was the name of that show? Jinro. The one is an anime about the guys with the like really good armor stuff, and they go through and taking out people and all. And one of the guys turns against them. I can't remember too much about it other than that, but just it being really nice and violent and Yeah. But anyway, this guy, he's actually taller than Bumblebee. And this guy, well, he's taller than Cliff Jumper too. And Cliff Jumper, I paid, at the time he was like $20, and I really don't think that a figure that's basically legend size being sold for deluxe size was cool at the time. And it's one of the main reasons I said that this was the last time I was going to do that. Buy one of those legend scale figures for $20 or $25 now dollars. And that's one of the reasons why I balked on not getting the new Bumblebee figure. $25 for a figure that basically I got this dude. I got him back on eBay back in the day when I got him, but now you can get him on Aliexpress, and I'll put a link in the description from a very reputable seller that I bought from before. You can get this guy for $11, and does it have free shipping? Come on, tell me if you have free shipping. Yeah, it's choice. So if you spend $10, which he's $11.08, you get free shipping on him. So right now on AliExpress, you can get the main figure. You'll have to do some work to get a nice head like this one. Like maybe you can find a broken Bumblebee from one of the other lines or whatever and put it on there. But I mean, like I said, the head that he comes with is not the worst thing on the planet. It's not the best. But anyway, he was $11.08, and he's a really nice figure. This guy, I got him at Dollar General for $5. This is the Authentics line. It's made specifically for budget markets. So stores like Family Dollar, Dollar Tree. I don't know if any of the other Roses maybe would carry these. If Roses even still, I don't know if Roses is still even operational anymore. But anyway, any of those discount stores were carrying this guy, and he's a really nice figure for $5. He has a ball joint at the neck, but it gives him a swivel because it's a little too restricted to do much. He's got ball joints at the shoulder, but he also has this hinge, so you can get a pretty good range of movement out of his arms. He has a 90-degree bend at the elbow, nothing at the wrist, and he doesn't have a waist joint, but he does have ball joints at the hip, so he can get them up there pretty good, and they can go back a little bit, but he has ball joints at the knee, so he has a swivel at the knee and he has ball joints at the ankle, but also this panel moves, so you can get a really good range of movement out of that ankle, and it does give him a little bit of a tilt because of the ball joint. And what's nice is he has that little drop down panel there that really gives the ankles a nice look. And I just think he's a really nice looking figure. Is he the best action figure you can buy? Not really. Is he a really good action figure for $5? Yeah, really, he is. Because he's got a good size to him. Like I said, he's taller and bulkier than Cliff Jumper here. And so, I mean, he's not deluxe size, but I mean, neither are Cliff Jumper and Bumblebee. They're smaller guys. So he fits in really well there, and they kind of made that antagonistic relationship between Barricade and Bumblebee in the live action movies, and I don't mind it. I think it's kind of a cool concept. But to transform him, you bring up this panel, you bring this one back, and this one will slide into place. Some of the engineering for him is a little rough in places, but and it wants to hang up sometimes, but really it slides back in this little slot here. Am I doing this right? I've done this a million times, and it's never fought me like it's doing right now. Let's see. Gets over here like this. Goes in like this. Okay, I don't know why it's fighting me all of a sudden now. I might have to get these up in here. Oh, you know what? I bet that's what it is. Yeah, you have to get these arms up in there like that. These panels, let's see. I'm trying to remember exactly how it goes. Yeah, these fold up. This folds around. Or does it go like this? I'm trying to remember. It's been a little while since I transformed, and you have to forgive me. I should probably practice my transformations, but, you know, I'm kind of an idiot. Oh, yeah, let me get this out of the way first. All right. I used to could do this thing in my sleep. Okay, yeah, there we go. That goes around like that, and I know that this panel fits up under there. Yep. Flip this around and slips up under there, and this will go up under here like this, and then this will come back, fit in here now. This will pin together in the back. Kind of get it over. It's got, look, there you go, there's a little slot for it there. And I don't know why this thing is resisting me like this. Ah, there we go. It just was a tight fit. And there he is in vehicle mode. And yeah, I know he looks like a car's car with the eyes on the windshield. It was $5. Anyway, you can see whenever we get, oh, come on, Bumblebee back into the vehicle mode. Let's see. You know what? If I edited my videos, this wouldn't happen. One day, my children, one day. But you can see that's a pretty good little size, like scale there for these two guys that are supposed to be arch enemies or whatever since the Bayverse movies came out. And that's one of the things. That's one of the leftovers from the Bayverse stuff that I don't really mind, is them being like, you know, if they were enemies or whatever. But yeah, it's pretty nice. But you know, what can I say? It's a $5 transformer that's pretty nice, and I like the design of the actual the robot. So you know, it's not too shabby, if you ask me. I know you didn't, but you know, if you had asked me, I'd say it's not too shabby. There we go. Just got it back in to his robot mode. You know, I used to scream at the people on YouTube when they did their transformations and weren't very good at it. Now I am one of those guys. And I hope you're all screaming at me too, because I should be better at this. I don't know why this thing is hanging up so bad. It's never done this before. Maybe it resented being called a really good $5 transformer. It's like, no, I'm really a bad $5 transformer. Oh, that helps. I don't understand why it's fighting me so bad. I'm going to break this thing. There we go. Yeah, if all else fails, just break your transformer in a video. It's cool. Everybody likes that. But anyway, yeah. So, not too bad for a $5 transformer. Pretty good articulation. It doesn't have the greatest paint apps in the world, but he doesn't have to. And yeah, what do you know? I'm getting a little bit better at this. Maybe if I had practiced it before I started making the video, I'd be even better. No, one thing about it, you'll learn through my mistakes how to transform this guy properly, and how to break his legs off. That's always fun. I'm consistently failing upwards. There we go. It's a little bit better, I guess. Yep. So, there's that. So yeah, just talking a little Transformers junk with you. Transformers Authentics Barricade, Legends class, or whatever this is now, Legends Plus, whatever it is now, and the Kubianbao MCS02 Hornets Agent. Yeah, Hornets Agent. I'll put the link below. I don't know if there's a link to get this guy. I still see him at Dollar General all the time whenever I go in there. But you know, and if you like the little tiny guy, I have a link for where you can get one of these. This guy's a little pricier. Newage is really high quality when it comes to Transformers, and their scale is really tiny. So he cost a good bit more. When I got him, he was like, I want to say he was like $24 when he first came out. And I think like the current price on this guy, yeah, is like $39.99, which to me is ridiculous, but I do know that I think Newage has made a newer version. Let me see real quick. What is the new Newage Bumblebee called? It should be on here somewhere. Bear with me a moment. You've been bearing with me for a while. Oh, come on. Great, I'm not finding him anywhere. I thought I was prepared to make this video, but evidently I'm not. Let's see. Oh, wait, here we go. Oh, there he is. So evidently he comes in a 2-pack now. He's called Herbie 2.0. Is that the regular Bumblebee? Give me a second. Alright, yeah, Herbie 2.0. And he's a little nicer. He looks a little bit more show accurate, I guess. It's a bit taller, but I like this one better, actually. The retail on that... Oh, you get a set of 2 for that. You get the... Oh, well, like, yeah, you get a set of 2 of these guys for $46.99. Says they're out of stock on TFSource, but anywho, I like this guy better anyway. But, you know, if you do want the other figure, I guess he's okay. He's a little bit more panel-y looking than this one. This one's just cute. That would be my recommendation, would be to, you know, always go for cute when it comes to Bumblebee. But, you know, it's just been me talking a little bit about Transformers and such, and updating and all that kind of stuff. If you like these kind of sitting around chatting about toys videos, let me know. If you hated this video, let me know. And I'll catch you in the next one. Monster Forward out.